Chai FM, 101.9 megahertz of life.
A very, very good morning to you, and who is you? Professor Bill Kolbrener. He is a professor of English literature at Bar-Ilan University, executive director of Writing on the Wall. I hope you are well. You're probably a lot warmer than we are.
Good morning, Howard. And I'm just looking out the window at the Judean hills, and I can't brag about the weather. It's 25 degrees now, which means it'll be in the mid-30s by the afternoon. So, the few snowflakes are sounding good, Howard, and I would love to build a snowman with you. It would be exciting.
Just let it go. Okay, let's talk about 3 universities, Israeli universities appearing on the global top 10 for producing master graduates who founded US Unicorn. That is quite incredible. Does it say something about Israeli universities, Israeli education, or people who study there?
Well, just for a little bit of background,
yes,
because I thought a unicorn was just a mystical animal, but apparently it
shows you what you know.
It shows me. Well, I am an English professor, Howard. So for the other listeners who are not as technologically or financially advanced as I am, a unicorn is a billion-dollar company that it's privately owned. And it turns out that Israelis are among the most likely graduates of universities to produce such people who produce such kinds of unicorn companies. Just for a reference point, if Oxford graduates are twice as likely than the baseline of people to produce unicorns, Israelis, Ben Gurion University in particular, I wish Bar-Ilan was a little higher on the list, but we're higher than both Oxford and Cambridge, are almost 7 times more likely.
That's a staggering number.
Unicorns. It really is, Howard, and I think it does beg the question that you're asking, to what cause? Why is this happening? And, Howard, it goes back to a conversation we had last time when you asked me, what should our students do in the face of a liberal university that's really in decay and catastrophically anti-Semitic? And I defaulted and said, go to Israel. And you said, we cannot ghettoize ourselves. And I think the model starts out being the ghetto. But what we see in Israeli universities is an ability to create a certain kind of entrepreneurial energy and devotion. Howard, I don't know if it's culture. I think it's survival. I think it's getting through the concentration camps. I think it's getting through 1948, 67. I think it's getting through everyday life here. You look at the difference between students here and students in America, and I'm sure the South African situation is different. Is there's just a general in America a general apathy as sophistication, disengagement as sophistication, and we can't afford that here. We are fighting for our lives, and we always have been. And Howard, I'm an English professor, and I've said to you, in the second half of the 20th century, Jews came out of the Holocaust and became experts in the literature of the people that had oppressed them. That is, they founded English literature departments. When the chips are down, when we are under pressure, which is basically always, we have to fight. And, we created the English Academy in America. It's now being taken apart by Jews. That's the irony as well.
Yeah,
but Israeli culture is just full of the energy. And I think there's something unapologetic and unashamed about being devoted to something. So, we believe in things.
There's a study that I read a few years ago, and I'm going to try and find it again today, because as you're talking, I was thinking, I wonder if this isn't part of it. And it's all about an examination of power distance. I don't know if you've read much about this. What power distance is the difference in numbers between authority and a person. So a country, for example, like Russia, will have a very, very big power distance. What a military, what somebody says, it goes. What a teacher says goes. There's no pushback. And other countries, maybe South Africa, somewhere in the middle, because we respect authority here, but also we challenge things, maybe not enough. And the study showed that the lower the power distance, the greater entrepreneurship. So, and in Israel, I don't need to tell you how low the power distance is. Everybody thinks the prime minister's an idiot, and they will tell him why. There's very little. It's not about respect. It's actually about that power distance. Maybe it's because as Jews we all stand next to each other, no matter what position you are in government. When you walk into a shul, you're just another person in shul, so you can't really separate yourself from community. But the study really did show that the lower the power distance, the greater entrepreneurship. Tell me what it's like from a power distance perspective, just out of curiosity, in Israeli universities.
There is a hierarchy for sure in Israeli universities, but I think what you're talking about, the power distance of the culture, is is low. Which is to say, I mean, that's one of the reasons we have so many problems in this country politically.
Of course, it brings its own problems.
But the bright side is, and Howard, I think this is something that's reflected, I see in Chai FM, you or me as executive director writing on the wall, we want to empower the creativity of the people we work with. And I think part of it is as well the trust that we share. One of my people I work with, a young woman, said, do you really trust somebody to innovate on their own? I'm like, yes. And I think that sense that anybody can come up with the answer. Anybody might. So I think we generate creativity communally through that. So I think, Howard, it's a nice balance to my, we have to survive, but we do survive, I think, through trusting each other.
And the fact is that even if you go to Talmudic or everybody questions. It's not that, and take that into a workplace, just because somebody is a receptionist doesn't mean that we're not going to listen to what they have to say. Maybe they've come up with a very good idea. It's about the idea, not the position, which is where the whole world has gone. You can't listen to me because I'm an over 50-year-old white male. Therefore, I don't have an opinion. But actually, but I might have a very interesting opinion worth listening to. And maybe it becomes the essence of what so many of our issues are about.
Do you really think everybody questions, Howard? I mean, that's the Israeli response,
exactly,
right?
A question,
right? To always, and that does go back. It's not a Talmudic culture only; it's a Jewish culture. We're curious. We like seeing things from different perspectives. Are you sure that's it? Are you sure that's all? And part of our knowledge that the world is much more complicated than people might say it is, so we're always asking more questions. Well, part of that knowledge also makes us wrong in community. We trust each other. We need each other.
Absolutely fascinating. We do need to leave it there. Professor Bill Kolbrener, thank you as always. Absolutely love these conversations. Always gives me so much to think about and even to write about. It is, absolutely fascinating. Just taking a quick look at some of your messages. Anton says, I love soup, especially thick barley soups. Even Cher sings about soup, the soup song. Oh, gosh. Karen says, let it snow. And Austin says, the most ridiculous thing for me is sitting in the car with the engine running and the heater on. Oh, I have definitely done that, especially with my car at the moment, because I've got heated seats. Oh, there is nothing as blissful as heated seats on a cold winter's morning. It is 6:46.